A landmark review into the UK's biggest maternity scandal finds more than 200 babies and 9 mothers could have survived with the right care. The inquiry concluded Shrewsbury and Telford Hospital NHS Trust made repeated errors and did not learn from its own inadequate investigations.
If they'd have listened to me from the beginning, you know, Jack probably would have been here today.
In what way?
I repeatedly asked for a caesarean.
We now know that this is a trust that failed to investigate, failed to learn, and failed to improve. This resulted in tragedies and life-changing incidents for so many of our families.
Well, the report raises 15 areas needing immediate and essential action in all maternity services in England. Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. A damning report into maternity services at Shrewsbury and Telford NHS Trust has found catastrophic failings over 20 years. The inquiry, led by the senior midwife Donna Ockenden, found that more than 200 babies and 9 mothers who died might have survived if they'd got the right care. Ms Ockenden described the culture at the trust as appalling and said failures in care were repeated from one incident to the next. Well, the review, covering more than 1,500 incidents, is thought to be the largest of its kind in NHS history. It spanned a time frame of 20 years, from 2000 to 2019. And it identified 15 immediate and essential actions which must be implemented by all trusts in England providing maternity services. The Trust has apologised fully for the failures and offered its sincere apologies to affected families. Our social affairs correspondent Michael Buchanan is in Shrewsbury, and we can join him now. Michael.
The numbers are truly shocking, unprecedented in the history of maternity care in this country. But what's important to remember is that each single number is an individual family, a family who have grieved a loved one or wondered why their child is profoundly disabled. And too often that grief was compounded by the fact that the trust lied to them and failed to investigate what had actually happened. Today, those families found out the truth. And I may warn viewers that some may find my report distressing. This is what justice looks like. Families failed by the NHS, now vindicated by the independent review they had placed their faith in.
Good morning, everyone.
At the centre of the gathering, Donna Ockenden, the woman who delivered a devastating critique of maternity care at the Shrewsbury and Telford NHS Trust.
We now know that this is a trust that failed to investigate, failed to learn, and failed to improve. This resulted in tragedies and life-changing incidents for so many of our families.
The review team found that at least 201 babies might have survived with better maternity care. 9 mothers could also have survived. 94 children sustained life-changing harm, such as cerebral palsy and brain injury.
This is all the more concerning when it is clear that major issues in safety were apparent in both midwifery-led unit and consultant settings. Unfortunately, these cases were not isolated incidents, and through the time span of our review, we have found repeated errors in care which led to injury to either mothers or their babies.
The review, which started in 2017, was set up to look into 23 cases at the Trust. By the time it closed, more than 1,000 families had come forward, the largest inquiry into maternity care in the history of the NHS.
I went in on Thursday, waters was leaking. They didn't induce me till Saturday.
Hayley Matthews was left in labour for 36 hours.
If they'd have listened to me from the beginning, you know, Jack probably would have been here today.
In what way?
I repeatedly asked for a caesarean and I was knocked back every chance.
Jack was born in a poor condition and died just 11 hours old.
They literally said, we don't know why he's died. And I said, well, is that it? You don't know why he's died? And then they said, well, we don't know what else to tell you. And I was like, well, I want a post-mortem, because a baby just doesn't just die.
Today, Hayley thanked the woman she felt had fully uncovered the extent of the problems.
She genuinely cares. It's not, you know, it's not another baby and another number. She genuinely cares about each and every one of us. And as she says, we're her family.
Any notion that these were historical problems was firmly rejected by today's finding, with Donna Ockenden saying she was very concerned about the quality of current maternity care. The Trust haven't yet addressed those criticisms.
Today belongs to the families who've been failed by our Trust. And as the Chief Executive now, I want to apologise fully for those failures, and nothing can take away from the pain and distress caused.
Each family now wants the NHS to embed each of the recommendations within today's reports across the UK. It's nothing more than the lost children deserve. Michael Buchanan, BBC News, Shrewsbury. The key question, of course, is why did this happen? There are a number of reasons. That there was a lack of investigation into many incidents, but not only that, the Trust devised their own investigation system at one point, which the Trust says appears to have been explicitly designed to prevent them from having to tell outside regulators what was going wrong. There was also failure of basic competencies, forceps deliveries were carried out wrongly, the misuse of labour drugs, and there was a culture for many years of trying to push women to have normal births, way beyond the point where they should have done, with catastrophic consequences. The key now is to embed the changes not just at this Trust, but at maternity units across the country, because most people accept that many maternity units have similar problems.
Michael, thank you very much. Michael Buchanan in Shrewsbury. If you've been affected by this news story, details of organisations offering information and support are available at bbc.co.uk/actionline on our website, or you can call free at any time to hear recorded information on 0800 077